The other thing, here's a thought for you. How much better would you feel about Andrew Berry if DeJuan Jones shows that he can be a really good tackle, and Martin Emerson shows you that he's the type of corner he was a couple years ago as opposed to the one he was last year? Then all of a sudden you've hit a key position with a fourth-round pick and another marquee position with a third-round pick. The problem is you've had such a down year that you've had guys from multiple draft classes that have just plateaued or gone backwards.
I think that those two combined with this year's class are maybe the biggest. They could have the biggest impact on changing the narrative about Andrew Berry, I think for sure. Because right now I think everybody looks at all his previous drafts and they're like, this guy can't find any talent. You're hoping Cedric Tillman finds that next level this year and he starts to show something. But his wide receivers that he's drafted over the years have not purely panned out. Donovan Peoples-Jones is maybe the one guy where you're like, well, hey, he was a sixth rounder and he gave you something. But other than that, it hasn't been pretty there. We know about Jedrick Wills. He's your first round pick you made. He hasn't panned out. Your second first round pick in Greg Newsome, probably not getting a second contract from this team. So that's two guys that didn't make it to second contracts as first round picks. So and the one guy that you can say is a resounding hit may never actually play football again in JOK. So it's been an unfortunate outcome in terms of like how some of these drafts have gone. And I understand you didn't have first round picks for several years, but when you make the trade for Deshaun, you're banking on, well, hey, we think we can still supplement this roster by finding guys in later rounds. And right now that hasn't come to fruition. So yeah, like I'll throw Cedric Tillman into that conversation, but like if Tillman becomes something and can be like your second guy on the outside of at the wide receiver position. If DeJuan Jones is your left tackle of the future, or even if he maybe isn't great at left tackle, but he's good enough to start on the offensive line and he can be your right tackle and he stays healthy this year, then maybe when Jack Conklin's off the books, you just move him back to the other side where he's more comfortable and that's your right tackle of the future. So yeah, like I'm with you on Martin Emerson because I've been saying I think he's due for a bounce back. I don't think he was as bad as he showed last year. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle with him from each of the last two seasons. And if that's the case, I think you walk away feeling good about a guy who was a third round pick and like, okay, yeah, he's a solid corner in this league that you can still pair with Denzel for the foreseeable future. I think if all three of those guys become something this year and show some promise, it adds to that what I was just saying a couple segments ago, like the narrative about Andrew Berry and how good or bad he is at evaluating talent. I think they get factored into the bucket in terms of, hey, maybe we were wrong about how good he is or how bad he is. And it's that combined with this rookie class for sure. But I think those guys could certainly help sway those opinions as well.